What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. It's time to do the fourth mission, which is Penthouse. So this one, technically, you can ghost this level entirely at the cost of losing a 100% stealth score. But I am not going to do that because I want a 100% for every level. So unfortunately, there is going to be one knockout. Anyways, once you start, let this National Guard soldier walk away from you, and then you should be able to carefully sneak to the other side of the street, jump up to the fire escape ladder, and you could start using the fire escapes to climb up to the high ground. 'Cause we are Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hahaha. So funny. Anyways, jump on the cardboard box and then grab the ledge. And then we're gonna shimmy along the ledge, like so. Eventually it'll take us to a downspout, which we're gonna slide down to get back to street level over here in this dark corner. Now, in this recording, I didn't do it the way I normally do it, but what I normally do is OCP the giant emergency light that's over in the street over there. But as you can tell, you don't have to do that. You can very carefully just slip through without taking it out. But I'd advise you to do so just to make your life easier. What you do need to OCP is the emergency hall lights inside right here. That way nobody perceives you as you go in. Next step is to hang out right here. This National Guardsman is repairing the elevator. What you can do is, as soon as he turns around, you could just slip into the elevator. It's more than dark enough where you could just sit in there. You can wait for him to fix it, which doesn't take very long, and then you'll know it's fixed once the doors close. Alternatively, and I'm assuming this is intended for if you knock this guy out, you have to climb into the elevator shaft and then you can take the ladder. Eventually the elevator will start moving, and then it will quite literally catch us as it goes up. Regardless of what you do, it doesn't really matter. The important thing is, the elevator is going to take us to the top floor, and that's going to be where we go from there. So just jump back down to the elevator itself. Get your SC-20K equipped with sticky cameras in the launcher. Launch a sticky camera on the wall right there, and we're going to use it to spy around the corner so that we can see this guy. We want him to come here and turn around, like so. Open the elevator door and then go ahead and pick the sticky camera back up, that way it doesn't go to waste. And now we need to very carefully trail behind this guy, and we need to get to the stairwell in this room that takes us up to the roof. So, a good hiding spot is on the shelf to the left. There's an opening right here. It's easier to slip into if you have a weapon drawn. Let the National Guard dude go back the other way. Like so. We can slip right past him. And then we're going to be on the roof. Now, on this roof, you can pretty much move as fast and as loud as you want, because the helicopter is creating tons and tons of ambient noise. So what we're doing is basically that guy over there on that little stairwell thingy, we need him to come over this way, and then we need the guy, hold on. There he is. Once they're positioned like so, use your OCP on that X product placement sign to take the light out, and then you can quickly run to the ladder to get onto the little catwalk part. Use the cable or telephone line to zip line across. Increase your speed so that you slide down the pipe, and then I'd say shimmy on the wall like this, just to minimize the chance of getting caught by the guys on the opposite roof. Now that guard, we want him to be all the way over there.
He's no night watchman.
My timing turned out to be a little weird, but we want him to be all the way over there so that we can carefully slip in, and then we're going to cut through this little plastic tarp or whatever with our knife so that we can get to this crawl space. Depending on the positioning of that guard outside, you may or may not have to wait for him to come back the other way, come back towards us, and then you'd have to trail behind him from there. I'd say OCP this light so that, just to guarantee you don't get perceived. And then we have our bonus objective is going to be on this computer that we're going to remotely hack. It's architectural plans or something. So just hack it. Go ahead and grab the plans, and then we will proceed. So here's the real meat of the mission, where this is where things kind of open up and become a little more open-ended. We're going to have to find Zerkezi's panic room. We're going to have to locate Dvorak. Those are the primary objectives. The secondary, or actually I think it's the opportunity. Yeah, the opportunity objective is to tap 6 security cameras. Right here is the first one. You want to stay against the wall to get under it, and then tap it like so. And then OCP it so that you can go up the stairs right here, unseen.
I'll keep my eyes open.
Go to the left, and then in this little guest room, you're going to want to switch the lights off to distract him, so that we can slip through the room like so. And coming up is our secondary objective. Well, I think the primary objective is to figure out who the security unit works for, which you can interrogate any guard to figure that out, but you can also complete it by eavesdropping on anyone that mentions the word displace, which is exactly what's going to happen on this very conversation right here. And this leads us to our secondary objective, which is going to require us to knock out exactly one person in this level. The secondary objective is to try to find someone that sounds like they know who's in charge of this security detail. I think there's exactly 2 specific guards you can interrogate to do this. One of them is the guard that hangs out on this balcony area, and he's the one I'm going to choose. So let the bald guy go back in. And once balcony guy over there turns around, very carefully slip over past the door, tap the camera. You can see I almost forgot to do it, but thankfully I recovered. And then we're going to sneak up on that guy, because the only way to complete this secondary objective and to learn the name Milon Nedic, at least in this level, is to interrogate one of those, I think, 2 guards. If you skip this objective, you will lose a 100% rating. So if you're trying to ghost as much as possible and still get 100%, then we absolutely must make the sacrifice of one single knockout. And it's going to be this guy. So grab him, interrogate him, and then once he's done talking, we can knock him out. And then we'll sneak back over via the ledge.
Yeah, it's Nedic.
If there's any other way to complete this secondary objective that doesn't require an interrogation, kind of like with the room assignment in Cargo Ship, please let me know. As far as I'm aware, it's not possible, but if it is, I really want to know, and I will update this walkthrough instantly. So once he's out, just make sure he's in darkness, obviously. We'll backtrack to get back where we were, and then we'll progress forward into the main part of the penthouse. So let's jump over. Once that guard turns around, you can go right in through the door. Alternatively, there's a little air vent you can climb through as well, but it's not really necessary since the doors, as long as he's not looking, you can just go through the door. I'd advise you to hang out here and wait for him to do his route again. That way we can very easily do what we need to do, which is when he goes back, we're going to trail behind him. Our third security camera is going to be off to the right in this little corridor where there's an elevator, which is going to be our extraction point later. And then our fourth camera is in the living room, basically right above the TV. So let him go back. We'll trail him, like so. And then to the right, let's get our camera tapped. If there's plenty of shadow, you won't get seen. Let him go back again before you proceed. Stay against the wall, and then our fourth camera is right here. The only guard you have to worry about is the one walking back and forth.
Good work, Fisher. That's 4 of 6 cameras.
As long as the timing is just right, you can tap the camera and hide in the shadows before he comes back, as you can see. So it was definitely important that we trailed behind him the way that we did, so that the timing was how we needed it to be. So now he needs to turn around again, because we need to go upstairs. There's a spiral staircase in the center of this room. It's basically to the right of where we are right now. Right there. Stay in the shadows because there actually is a guard right there leaning against that pillar. But as long as you stay in darkness, he won't see you. Once we're up, our fifth camera is in this room, but we need to OCP it in order to get close because it has a good view of the whole room. So zap it, run up, and then tap it. Real quick, we're going to go enter the panic room for our primary objective, which is right over here. So, here's the door. So basically, in the panic room, all we need to do is just get on the computer. And like most primary objectives in the game, all you have to do is touch the computer. You don't have to hack it. You don't have to physically click on the file or anything. That's usually for like secondaries or opportunities.
How do I get through the door?
Or encrypted emails with door codes or whatnot. But all you gotta do for a primary is just touch the computer. And then we can get back out. Our final camera that we need to tap is over in this little greenhouse area over here. Also, I mentioned there's 2 guards that you can interrogate. Oh, what you want to do to hide from the guard that comes out, you want to do a split jump in this corridor, but you want to do it between the lights between the ceiling lights. That way, you're in as much shadow as possible. Best way I can describe it. The other guard that you can interrogate for that secondary objective is actually the guard that's about to come out and is about to walk under us. So if you didn't do that yet, you can interrogate this guy to do that. But I prefer to do the guy on the balcony because he's more in the way. Because we have to backtrack through that area so many times. Versus this area where once we're out, we're not coming back. Let him walk under you and let him turn left. Now you can drop down. And then you want to open the door and immediately and very carefully stay as far to the left as you can so you can tap this camera. Leave the door open. That way you can easily slip out and close it on your way out. That guard should be standing right there, not looking at us, and you should be able to just climb out this window. And then from here, just jump back down to the balcony area. So now we need to go to the next building where Dvorak is. Be careful not to get caught by the guard that hangs out in the kitchen area. Now we need to go back through the guest room. This time we're going to distract him by OCPing. I think that's supposed to be a radio, but it has film reels on it, so it looks more like a movie projector. Anyways, OCP it to distract him. That way we can get around him easily. Let him go back to the bed, just to make sure he doesn't catch you as you exit the door. And now through this door. We couldn't come through here before, but now we can, thanks to Grimm deactivating the electronic lock or whatever. Or the magnetic lock, I mean. Get your sticky cameras for the SC-20K equipped, because we're going to be using one here pretty soon. So right now, we need to hide right here to let this patroller pass by. Just let him pass. And when you're moving on this roof, just be careful. Don't move too quickly because the roof gravel will make noise. Now you want to stand here and look that window to the... There's two windows. The one to the right, you can just barely see a guard. We need him to move away so that he is not looking towards us. And then in the corner here, flip the fuses off, or the breaker. It'll completely kill the lights so that we've got tons of shadow cover. And now we need to very carefully jump to this little roof shed. And you can see the wall mine blinking. Very, very slowly approach it at the slowest possible speed, and then disable wall mine when the light is green. Again, when the light is green. And you want to tiptoe on this tin roof because you'll make noise if you don't. Launch a sticky camera in the room as far to the corner as you can, and then trigger the noise to distract him, and while he's looking away, climb in, and then immediately go to the left to get through this little unfinished room here. That's not as hard as I made it sound, but it is a kind of a precise process, so just make sure you do it right. Watch it. That guy's looking away, don't worry about him. But you still need to tiptoe because there's another wall mine. Disable with a green light, and only a green light. And then we can go to the crawl space so that we can cut through, so we can get to the part of this little, well, I don't want to say abandoned, I guess it's being renovated or something. This, apartment under renovation, this area is where Dvorak is. This is actually really easy, especially if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, there's actually like an eccentric old man here that you can literally talk to, and he will guide you every step of the way. But if you do know what you're doing, you can just do what I do, and you'll get entirely unique dialogue, and the process will be so much faster. So here's what you want to do. Start the main generator, and then there's 6 server racks that you want to turn on one by one. Basically, well, that one doesn't seem to work correctly, but the indicator of which one you turn on next is indicated by a blinking red and orange square, which you should see in the lower right-hand corner of the server.
I'm going to try and reinitialize the machine.
So just switch these on in the correct order. There's 6 of them, I think. And then you'll get an output stack printed out, which you can collect from here. If the old man helps you do this, it's much easier because he describes the whole process to you, and then he'll do half the racks, and then you do the other half. But to speed this up, I did it myself. And I got completely different dialogue as a result.
Good work, Fisher. Time to make yourself scarce. Get to your primary.
Anyways, now let's backtrack. We need to go back to the vent to go back to where we were. We need to exit the area out the same window that we climbed in from. So we're going to have to reactivate that sticky camera we planted, and then we're going to have to trigger the noise again. One thing that'll happen is that as soon as you climb out the window, he will hear you land on the tin roof, but there's enough shadows where he won't see you. So, reactivate your sticky camera, distract him again. More than likely he's going to shoot the camera out. It doesn't matter. Climb out, he will hear you hit the tin roof, but as long as you tiptoe as far away as possible, you should be fine. Just be mindful of the guard that's patrolling this roof, because you don't want him to see us. He has a flashlight. But now let's exit the area. We need to go to our extraction point, which is the Zerkazy's penthouse elevator. So back through the guest room again, switch the lights off to distract this guard again. And now let's get to the elevator. It's in the corridor where the third camera that we tapped is located. So use either the crawl space or the door. If you use the door, just make sure the guard's not looking. If you use the crawl space, it doesn't matter because this corner is dark. If the guard is over there and you know in this situation, he just made it over there, so I just narrowly made it, but it's probably safer to wait for him to come back and then trail him from behind. OCP the camera so you don't get seen entering the elevator shaft, and then from inside the elevator, you can extract. Alright, there you go. This one was so close to being ghosted, but we absolutely had to interrogate that person to complete that secondary objective. Otherwise, we would not have gotten this 100% rating. Alrighty, see you next time.